Hey everybody, welcome back to Washita Valley. Well, I've got a treat for you today. There's going to be something we're going to do in a minute that I've been looking forward to for a long time, and I think you're going to find it interesting. So, I got Dad with me here today. He's going to drop me off at a piece of equipment back here in just a second. So, let's go. So we're here at the Krieger place, and there's a piece of equipment parked back in the back. Looks like somebody's been in here, Dad. Yeah, the poultry crew's been back. The owner called me because they were in the area. He asked if there was anything I needed them to hit again, so I had them stop by and spend the day cleaning up a little more. Huh. Alright, what did they work on? You'll see as we drive in. I think you'll approve. Sure, Dad. Whatever you say. It's okay with me. Wait a minute. Oh, wow. That will make this corner of the field a lot easier to navigate, especially with the big equipment. It makes it just a tad bit bigger, too. Let me hop out and I'll show you what I'm talking about, guys. So, back here. Yeah, so this area right here that's plowed, this used to be trees. I mean, there was a couple of big trees in here. There were several smaller trees, just kind of brushy shrub type trees. So this is all gone. And if you guys don't know what, if you don't know what Dad's talking about when he says the mulching crew, I'll put a link in a video up in the top right, and you can go back and watch that if you want, and you'll get a little bit better idea of what he is talking about. Man, this is nice. This is going to be so much better. That's awesome, Dad. Thanks. Yeah, I figured you wouldn't mind if we made that patch a little easier for you to farm. Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks. And looks like they were back here too. What else they do? Well, when I drove through here to look at the back pasture, I noticed you had to mow around those two big trees. I knew it was going to be hard to farm around them, so they're gone. It should be a lot easier to work this up now. So I can turn this into a field then? Yeah. Go ahead. The grass here's not that good anyway. It's been neglected for too long, and it would need to be sprigged or reseeded to be worthwhile. Thanks, Dad. I think with these 3 patches here, I'll have about 10 acres. I think you're right. Call me when you get to Kurt's house, and I'll come pick you up. Okay, see you later. So here is the piece of equipment that we're going to be running today. If you guys don't know from previous videos, this is Kurt Stevens 8960, and he's got a disc on here. So he disced this up. This is a field that he's renting from my dad for starting for the first time this year. He's going to be planting some wheat back here this fall, and he's got all of his summer crops in, and he has started working up some ground that needs it. All right, let's get this puppy started and let's get going. Alright, so what it is that we're going to be doing today, and what Dad kind of alluded to just a minute ago, is I'm going to be disking up this piece of ground right here that's halfway grass, halfway mulched up, ripped up ground here in front of me. And if you didn't catch what Dad was talking about and I were talking about just a minute ago, um, there used to be a big tree that stood right here in front of the tractor where this plowed ground is. And there was another big tree over yonder, further in front of us, that was kind of in the field and was kind of in the way as well. So the deal is that whenever I came in the other day and I brush hogged this, I really had to cut way around those two big trees, and um, even though the trees didn't stick out in the field very far, the way I had to mow around them, it really cut out a pretty decent sized part of the field. So we are going to get with this and we're going to disc this up. Here we go. Now these little patches here are small enough that it's not going to be real easy to get this done with this big tractor. It's going to be kind of clunky, for lack of a better word, but the tractor is here. Kurt is nice enough to let me use it for free. And again, for those of you who don't know, I used to work for Kurt full time back a couple of years ago, and I still help him farm a little bit part time. So he had his tractor here working on this big field over here to our right, and he told me, you know, just go ahead and grab the tractor and work up what you need to, because it's not going to amount to much, and then when you're done you can just bring the tractor back to the house. So that's the plan. Let's see if we can not mess this up too badly. We're going to find us a nice low gear here. Let's see what happens. Now I don't want to get too close to these trees over here, but I do want to get as close as I can because I want to maximize the amount of field I have to plant into alfalfa, because that's the plan this fall. I'm gonna seed this to alfalfa, and I'm going to use oats as a nurse crop. And another gentleman farmer from this area who I baled some hay for, his name is Steve. He is a pretty expert alfalfa farmer, and he is going to coach me and mentor me on how to get a good stand of alfalfa. This is working up a whole lot better than I thought it would. Like I mentioned, I came out a couple of days ago and I brush hogged this area here, in hopes that with the shorter grass and the rain that we've had in the past few days, that this would work up pretty well. And so far it looks like it is. This is not a super heavy disc, so I was kind of worried about that, but I'd say so far it looks like it's doing an okay job. I might have to come back and do some sort of remedial work or something like that, but I think so far it's doing pretty good. Now some of you may be saying, you know, to the computer, saying to me, man, you need a plow for that. You need a moldboard plow for that. And I'll be honest, I'm not disagreeing with you. But the problem is nobody around here owns a moldboard plow. And I'm sure that nobody that I know around here owns a moldboard plow. And that probably surprises some of you, but it's the truth. Most everybody is pretty much no-till around here anymore, with the exception of, you know, something like this field over here, um, this big field back here in the back. That's kind of an exception because that field kind of has not been maintained properly in the past several years, and it needed to be disked up just so the field could get smoothed out. There was some ruts in it, there were some wash spots in it, and it was just, overall, it was just a very rough field. And so that is why, that along with it having a lot of residue is why it got disked. But the disking is not the norm. There are a few guys around these days who will do some vertical tillage, but generally that's it. All right, got one more little spot back in the back, and I think that looks pretty good, actually. I'm surprised that this has turned out as well as it had. I think that a lot of it's just to do with the fact that the soil out here is pretty mellow, and we've had a lot of rain. Alright, we're going to hop over to this next little patch right over here. And so when the mulching crew was in here before, this, if you guys don't remember, this is the field where we found the 3020. And this field had been mulched up by the mulching crew. And so that's what this kind of plowed plowed ground is here. The mulcher came in, mulched up a bunch of just kind of scrubby looking bushes, and then ripped up the roots. And as you can see over there, there's a little bit of grass growing back, and that's just because it's been this ground has been laying here kind of over the summer. That's what that's about. So I'm pretty excited about this patch of alfalfa. I am even more excited after baling all of Steve's first alfalfa cutting of the year, because I think that there's definitely some money to be made here if I can manage the alfalfa properly. And even though it's just 10 acres, which doesn't sound like much, the fact of the matter is I'm pretty young. I'm just in college. I've never really had the opportunity to have any of my own crops before now. And so I've got to start off small and kind of prove myself. And then I think, I'm hoping anyways, some other doors may open up for me. So this is a start, and we're going to see what happens and see how it goes. Alright, so I think we're going to have to fold this disc up to get across this tin horn here. So we'll go ahead. We'll do that. I think we might be able to make it, but I definitely think that it would be close, and we might as well just fold it up. So this area back behind us here, where that little shed is, you know, this little field, Dad and I are pretty sure that this used to be a hay meadow back in the day, like back several decades ago. And if you'll go back and you'll watch other episodes that take place on the Krieger place here, you'll probably figure out why Dad and I think that. But that's for a different video. So this last field up here was planted to wheat. There was wheat sowed here, not this, well, I guess this last fall. Fall before last actually, I think. But anyways, the wheat never got harvested, and so that's what you see. I mean, obviously you see some weeds out here, but then the straw looking stuff out here, that's actually wheat that never got cut. And the reason it never got cut is kind of strange. I guess the guy who was farming this place at the time was leasing it from the previous owners. My mom and dad own this place now, but they were leasing it from the previous owners, and the story is that the guy got scared off. And it sounds kind of strange to me why somebody would just leave a standing crop of wheat, not only in this field but also in the big field in the back that Kurt worked up the past couple of days. But the reason why this tractor's here, all that wheat just got left, and the guy just said, to heck with it, I'm not going back to that place. So whatever it was must have scared him pretty bad. So, alright, anyways, let's get on with this. So I'm going to do a little bit of voiceover here as we go. And if you'll remember, going back to a couple of videos ago when we came and brush hogged this place, I do believe I mentioned that I was going to try to extend this field just a little bit in some places. And that's still the plan. I'm going around the outside edge right now of the existing field where the wheat is. But I'll probably go back this next round and sort of cheat over into the grass and see if I can reclaim a little bit of the outside edges, because some of it over the past couple years has grown up and grown over, and I want to reclaim as much of this field as I possibly can. I'm going to reclaim a lot of this area that's right here in front of the tractor. The only thing Dad asked is for me to leave a wide enough area that we can drive a pickup or a side-by-side between the fence and the alfalfa patch. So that's kind of what I'm going to do now. Just going to leave a little strip right here, maybe not, that we can drive a pickup down. And I'm gonna get a little bit of this driveway right here. It's kind of hard to do with an articulated machine, but it's mostly just because I'm not used to driving one. I don't really want to get into that road, so I'm gonna try my best not to. And this right here is the area, like we mentioned earlier in the video, that there used to be trees all about through where I'm going to drive here. So that really, it really adds, you know, in the grand scheme of things, a pretty significant area to the field, and also makes it a lot easier to, it's going to make this little corner back here a lot easier to farm and a lot easier to work up. So it's cool that Dad did that. It's not really something that I was expecting at all. All right, we're coming to the end of the field here. We are pretty much done, and I think this actually went pretty well. We'll hop out here and and see what we think. So, for as much residue as there was out here, I'm really pretty pleased with how this worked up. I think that if we had not gotten that rain just a few days ago, day before, let's see, it rained a little bit night before last, and then the previous days is when we really got some pretty good rain. I think if we had not had that rain, this would not have worked up nearly as well. Now this is by no means done. I'll probably come back. Well, actually, probably when Kurt comes back and works the big field in the back, when he comes back and works it that one the second time with this disc, I will probably I'll probably work this again, because for one, it's going to need to be worked again and churned up again to make sure all of the organic matter and all the vegetation that I turned under really gets broken down good before I plant this to oats and alfalfa. And then two, when I come back this next time in this field, I don't want to do as much turning around in the middle of the field, as I did out here. Out here I just was trying to get the soil worked up as best I could so that I could get all of the organic matter turned under and get it to decomposing. And so that's why I did just kind of all the willy-nilly turning around in the middle of the field. I don't really want to do that because this is going to be in hay for the next, I don't know, hopefully at least the next 4 years. I'll be cutting alfalfa off this field. And so when I come back this next time, I'll probably try to use the GPS and pick a line that gets me the most straight through pulls on this field so that I can begin smoothing up and making the seed bed more uniform. So I'm expecting to have to come back here at least one more time with this disc and then probably pull a cultivator across this, then probably a harrow, and hopefully by that point it'll be ready to seed. And then I anticipate pulling some kind of, I think Steve Thomas, which is going to be my alfalfa mentor, so to speak, I think he usually runs a cultipacker type roller across his alfalfa ground once it's sowed. So that's what's coming up for this field and the two smaller fields in the back. Guys, thanks for following along today. I'm going to take this tractor back to Kurt's, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day.